Good morning. Oh, Saturday morning. I think it's the 3rd of June and we've got glorious blue skies. There are little puffs of white cloud, but generally it's absolutely glorious. Now today I want to lift my garlic. It's definitely ready. It was planted in the autumn, but I think I've got a narrow window to do it because I don't know if you can hear that machinery. We've got a huge garden sort of behind my house, and they're building on it, so there's going to be all houses on there, and they've been really noisy all morning, so that could interfere with the sound. We'll have to see how it goes. And also my neighbours tend to have their music on when the weather's like this with the door open, so I'm not going to waffle too much. The tree's gone. I didn't realise how stressed I'd been about it until it's gone. I got up this morning, made myself coffee, and I sat by the back door because that's the sunniest part of the garden at the moment. And yeah, the garden looks very, very different. It's quite bare, but I can see more sky, so that's nice. Hasn't affected the birds, they're still coming into the garden. So Paddy's sitting in a patch of sun. I've got my usual coffee, so I'm just going to sit here for 5 minutes and finish that off, and then I'll take you over to where the garlic is and show you what I do with it. So this is my garlic. It is a variety called Germidour, and it is a soft neck variety. And you know when it's ready to harvest when the base leaves start to turn papery and the leaves turn yellow. Well, that is certainly the case with these. Now, I did a test and lifted a couple of days ago. One of them was a pretty good size, but unfortunately it had split. Now, the indication there is that they're either been overwatered, and we had an extremely wet April, or they've been left in the ground too long, and that is a possibility as well because these were sown in the autumn. They've been right the way through winter and now spring, so it's definitely time to lift them. So let's have a look. Now, I wouldn't recommend you pulling them up. I would put the fork in at a slight distance to loosen the soil around them, and then you'll be able to lift them out. Well, that one looks great. That's not split at all. I've got a good root system because that's obviously anchored them well. There we go. And again, that hasn't split. Oh, look at that. That's fantastic. And you can see the individual cloves. So I'm just going to carry on. Oh, I am so happy about this. It's been a pretty tough time in the garden with the mosaic virus and all the problems it's caused. So to have a successful harvest is a real booster. What I'll do is once they're lifted, I'll lay them out on this bed in the sun to try and dry them out a bit. It'll dry the soil that's around the roots, and then I will hang them in the greenhouse to complete their drying process. I might actually put some leeks in here because I've got some in the greenhouse that need to go out. So I'd say that's a pretty good harvest for a small garden. I'm happy with that. So I'm just taking a 5-minute break because there's no music, there's no machinery, there's no chatter or children playing. Although I love the sound of children playing, but my point is there's just nothing. You can hear some traffic in the distance, but it's the birds. The only thing I have really noticed now the tree's gone is the blackbird. I just love the blackbird song, and I'd often have a blackbird sitting in that tree and I just sing constantly. Well, I was doing it a little while ago, but it's now up on my neighbour's roof. So whoever it's communicating with, it's found a different vantage point. But can you hear them? It's nice. So I'm going to enjoy my coffee for a minute, and then I'll decide what my next job's going to be for today. I think it's going to be the raspberries, but I'll explain that in a minute. Okay, so I mentioned the raspberries earlier. I've got 3 raspberries and 2 of them look particularly unwell to me. One of them is the autumn bliss and the leaves are starting to curl now. I cut off all the damaged leaves about a week ago just to see if it would cope, but I think I've got to accept that that's infected. And the other one, I believe, is the Admiral Morlin, or Morlin Admiral. Can't remember which way round that is. I'll have a look in a minute. But that's got distinctive mottling of the leaves. So I'm afraid they're going to have to come out, and I just can't risk it anymore. If I've gone to the drastic measure of having a tree taken down to stop the spread, then I've got to remove any plant in this garden that looks like it might have the virus, because otherwise it's just never going to go. So that's what I'm going to do now. So this is the autumn bliss. I've removed the worst leaves about a week ago, but these are starting to show signs. And then these leaves are all curling. So that's got to come out. This next one, which is the Tulliman, looks okay. I can't see anything yet for me to be worried about. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to wrap it up to protect it while I remove the other 2. So this one's got to go. And this is the Morlin Admiral. So I've got leaves there. I don't want to lean on it, I don't want my clothes to touch it. I don't know if you can see that. There. down here. That does not look good to me. So that's coming out. Well, now I've removed 2 of the raspberries. That left the Tulliman. I could have a really good look at it, and unfortunately, once I started really having a good look around the base, I could see some telltale signs. So that's going to have to go as well. I just can't risk it. So that's all 3 raspberries gone. Right, they're only tiny leaves. I don't know if you can see that, but it's got the characteristic mottling on it. This one has got a hint of it. I don't think the camera's really picking it up. I just don't think I should take a chance with it. I think it's just got to go. There's some more yellow leaves down there as well. So I went here. Yeah, that's got to go. Oh dear. So, a bit like the dead parrot, they are no more. Okay, so I didn't want to end on a sour note, so look at that. So these are the very first broad beans. And then, let me just move you. So this flower was open a little while ago, but now the sun's gone beyond this patch, it's closed up. But that is a sight for sore eyes, but I'm going to save the best to last. So what do you think of that? One there, and one there. And buds ready to pop.